Now let's read lesson 343. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. I know it has felt like sacrifices every single time we have to give up our way, give up our righteousness. It feels like a sacrifice. It is to the ego. We are literally sacrificing the ego. We're saying we're done with that. We are crucifying it because there is a resurrection taking place. Our soul is coming alive. Our soul is awakening. Our soul is literally coming out of hiding. Well, to remove what's been hiding the soul, we have to look at what the ego is. So here it says, we're not being asked to make a sacrifice, even though it feels that way, because we're removing the thing that we thought protected us, the thing that we thought kept us safe, the thing that we thought made us somebody, only to discover that it blocked us from actually being our happy selves, our authentic selves, and experiencing our peace. So let's go to paragraph 1. This is the prayer. The end of suffering cannot be loss. Isn't that obvious? The end of suffering cannot be loss. The gift of everything can be but gain. You only give. God, you only give. God has only been giving us. We've been blocking. And now we're finally saying, let's stop calling what God gave us a sacrifice, receiving that. Let's stop saying that it's a sacrifice. It is only gain. It is only going to enhance our lives. You never take away. Again, this is addressed to Father. You never take away. And you created me to be like you. So sacrifice becomes impossible for me as well as you. I too must give. That's our function. We need to give because in giving is how we receive. Sentence 7. And so all things are giving unto me forever and forever. See, the Father wants to give us everything that our heart desires, but we cannot experience our heart's desires because we're operating from our ego's desires, which are very different. It's about we do things to get and protect. When we do things from our heart's desire, it is to give and extend. Very, very different. Sentence number 8. As I was created, I remain, because we cannot be other than how God created us. Your son can make no sacrifice, for he must be complete, having the function of completing you. God is complete. We are part of God's completion because we are God's only son. God creates this one experience of what it could be if it was receiving what God is giving. And then we turn that one essence, that oversoul, that one a higher self, if you want to call it this. There's no way to describe this, but it's that aspect of ourselves that is what God has an experience with itself when it is extending love, giving and receiving this love. All right, so let me read that again. Your son can make no sacrifice, for he must be complete, having the function of completing you, God. I am complete because I am your son. I cannot lose, for I can only give, and everything is mine eternally. So we are created to extend, but we have to have something to give it to. And we give it to the universe. We give it to the plants. We give it to the flowers. We give it to our lovers. We give it to our children, to our friends, to our president, to, anybody. Extend love. Because as you extend it, it just continues to multiply. It's like you open up on a faucet, open up the spigot, and it's going to flow. It's been there all along. We don't put the water behind the spigot. We just open the spigot or close the spigot. Your thoughts, when you are thinking with the ego, you close the spigot. And then you're creating issues and you got to go excavating for water somewhere else. When you align with God and you do the Father's will, you're going to be happy that what you have discovered is that all you have to do is turn the knob. All you have to do is, instead of thinking with the ego, think with God. You turn your attention to what you want to focus as your reality. And once you do that, all you're receiving is what was already there and complete and never was not there, but you thought it wasn't because the spigot was closed and you thought that that's what determined whether there was a flow or not. Well, no, God determined the flow. We stopped it with our own thinking, with our own ideas. So it's been ours eternally, but we had no recollection that it was there because everybody else taught us to look the other way. So let's go to paragraph 2. The mercy and the peace of God are free. Salvation has no cost. It is a gift that must be freely given and received, and it is this that we would learn today. So today, when you open up the spigot, there's no cost involved in you turning the knob. It costs you a lot to leave it closed off, because then you got to go work really hard to make something happen, to become, to have an idea that you're acquiring, achieving, creating. But there's no cost in turning the spigot and just receiving what was already there, held in trust for us, as some other teachers called that Abraham say. Everything that we want is held in trust. Where? On the other side of the spigot. All we have to do is allow ourselves to receive. This is a benevolent creator. Always has had our back, but we turned our back on it. I hope you're enjoying these lessons. This is powerful. I am not asked to make a sacrifice to find the mercy and the peace of God. We're just merely asked to accept it. Always been there. There is no loss, only gain when we're willing to play by the rules of the Creator. Thanks a bunch, and I'll see you in the next lesson.